Good evening. Welcome to the Alan Osborne Show. It's October 26th, and it was the first day of early voting. And the thing I want to say the most is congratulations, Walton County. Okay, here's what the numbers are. So far, in total early voting, I think that's mail-in included, we're right at 10,999 last time I checked, so just under the 11,000 mark, which was about 18%. Well, folks, sometimes that's all we've ever turned out, and this is one day into early voting. That's right, here's the numbers, if you've not been watching. Today, 1,087 people showed up at Geronimo for early voting. And the South Annex, 1,705 people showed up at my last count. 1,199 showed up in Defuniak, and 1,215 showed up at the City Hall Freeport. For a little over 5,100 people showed up today on early voting. I've never seen anything like it. And sadly, a lot of people didn't know what to vote on the amendments. They just need to read them. Really, a lot of those are personal decisions in your life, and that's why they're on there, so you can make them instead of a bunch of damn politicians making them for you. So pick the option that fits you best. But sadly, some people said they were only voting for the president. Didn't care about the rest of the offices. Well, hell, that's how we got here. What happens in your backyard and your ability to fix and remedy the problems that you see in government directly affect your ability to go on to fix it at the state and the national level. You can't think that you can fix one thing and that fixes it all. And this is one of the problems. A lot of people said you were voting for him. It was concerning. A lot of people didn't know who I was. So what I'd say to you Alan Osborne followers is you need to share the information and the TV shows and the things that I have put out that are true. You got to ask yourself, if you'll go watch the end of this last year's budget, you'll watch for organizations quibble and fight over $10,000, $7,000, money for a seniors program, money for the Chamber of Commerce and other things like that. And it's all gone to the pig. Mike Atkinson has become gluttonous with his thirst for money and tax money. And I meant what I said in the last show. The BCC ought to demand him back, but how did we get there? Why do you say that, Alan? People ask me, why do you say that about Mike? Because let's look at it. Pretty much for the past 12 years of his 16, and even before that, Mike has had a bevy of retired and ex-deputies that either worked with or around him through politics. And none of them were going to tell him what they were going to get of the budget. And it's time to take a look at that. Nobody should be able to spend $750 million, at least nine, and Mike's not disputed this, that at least $762 million seems to have gone through those accounts, and I'm sure there's more with grants and other things. Mike needs to give us back $20 million for ball fields. He saved $20 million, great. Give it back to the BCC right now, and let's go give the money to the groups that need it at the beginning of the budget. Let's fix some things. Let's buy some infrastructure, and let's concentrate on buying these ball fields and senior centers and building stuff on the property that we've spent millions buying. What the hell's wrong with that? We need to start demanding that Mike get these illegals. We got some places down here in the south end. They're becoming, little Ecuador and little Havana, little Guatemala. That's bullshit. There are people on Facebook selling addresses for illegal aliens in this sanctuary county, sanctioned by Michael Atkinson Jr. and the other people who don't want to do nothing about it. Think about this. Oh, Mikey, the majority of the $200,000 raised to keep his hind end in office came from developers and stuff. Why should they care that the sheriff needs to stay in office? Why do those lawyers need the sheriff in office? Because most of those lawyers represent developers. If you haven't watched the shit show, we've now got ourselves to the point where the BCC's had to admit it has to approve stuff because it's granted so many variances that other people in the area would be disparaged, discriminatory if we didn't grant them a change. So what the hell did we have that comp plan for? I mean, aren't you tired of having a guy in charge of your 2024 or 2040 land development code and how we're going to live as a neighbor in this county. The guy in charge of it, Matt Carpenter, had to surrender his license for fraud, and nobody's batted an eye. We sold a $1.6 million tax value property to Trey Nick right before he left office, family, for $300,000. Who's investigating this stuff? We don't know how Mike spends his money. It's bull crap about these people have looked at his programs. He's let people look at what he wanted people to look at. And the fact that most of his phony baloney leadership, think about it, he's toting his cousin Dustin as the next coming of Christ in law enforcement, and that man's never worked for anybody but his cousin. You can't make that shit up. You can't make this shit up about the nation and where we're going. I was encouraged to see so many people. I hope we'll continue this trend. I think it would be phenomenal. It's sad that I have to say phenomenal would be a 50% turnout, but it would be. It'd be phenomenal. Don't be fooled by Tony Anderson. That's just a radical for sale Democrat to any developer that'll pay him enough. Now you think about this, Tony. You idiot. You have absolutely no qualifications, Tony, to sit up there and listen. Watch my hand. Here's what Tony learned how to do: open the mailbox, close the mailbox, which is a pretty important task, but does not prepare you to be a BCC commissioner. This no education idiot has gotten us into more spectacles. He hired a developer's sister-in-law, and he's been in the middle of every sexual scandal, including Trey Nick, the racist text, and we can talk about them now, and we should talk about them now, Tony, because evidently the text that the state insurance company found good enough for probable cause to pay out hundreds of thousands of dollars weren't good enough for the DeSantis ethics commission didn't meet the standard for their probable cause. So what do you think about that? So there's enough probable cause that something bad happened that we got an insurance company to pay off hundreds of thousands of dollars, but an ethics committee made up of some lawyers and other connected people found no wrongdoing in the text that we all saw. Does that tell you something about what you need to know? You need to be spreading the word that we need some change. And as long as they know that the overhead cover, as long as they know that Mike, who's the head law enforcement leadership, will hire somebody 16 years unqualified, will hire somebody and then promote them as the employee of the year who has abused a credit card, who will willingly break policy, who will continue to promote people who've been convicted by a jury of their peers of wrongdoing. He got up in front of the BCC the other day and lauded Tracy Voss. If you don't know what's going on, hell, I'll come tell you anywhere you want to, Tracy. See if you throw a stapler at me. And now I hear there's a new lawsuit, sexual lawsuit, about somebody else in the fire department that reports under Atkinson. What's he doing about it? Do you really like being one of the wealthiest counties in the world and you have to go stand in a swamp to play ball with your grandkids or your kids? These communities that they say they're building us, these aren't communities. These are money generation things that people will be willing to walk away from, because most of the stuff being built are not the dreams of most Americans, in my opinion. Nobody desires to be sardined down a road in a bunch of apartment buildings that are probably going to flood the next time we have a great big storm. And there's not enough fields and not enough schools and not enough leadership to say stop. And that's the way it was on the first day of voting. But I congratulate you to go out there and do something about it. Together, we could fix stuff. But if we all stand by and do nothing, you'll get what we got up on the upper line. Some military guys, well, what's so bad about him? How many of you people in the military have ever had a boss who couldn't meet the standards required of you? Why? So that's somebody that's going to require standards of you that they cannot meet. Who wants a boss who puts a 16-year unqualified person in charge of people who are holding credentialed qualifications because they're friends? Because it's a political favor. And now he's gone to buy a radio that has Graham Fountain and the sheriff of Okaloosa and a lot of other connected people. And here's a news flash for you. I understand that they're trying to have a coup to come after Murray, is what some lady told me, and that they've tried to waive the standards to run the Northwest Florida College so they can hire Mel Ponder. Do y'all remember when Mel was involved in that chanting and stuff? And wasn't it Mel's daughter who was supposed to be in the house down 30A that never got really investigated, the $11 million break-in? Listen, you want to talk to me about it, Mel? You give me a call. People that you know well know how to get a hold of me, and I'll come talk to you and tell you you're wrong. But I understand the reason that Mikey and Graham and all these people want Mel in charge of the college, really just so they can fire Aaron Murray as a warning to others. How dare you challenge the good old boys? Well, you can't fire me, good old boys, and I'll be right here to challenge you as long as I'm breathing. For all of us to fail, all we have to do is a bunch of good people stand by and do nothing, and I'm not willing to do that. How about you? So it's a great early voting day, and we need to get out there and get after it. We need to spread the word about Phony Tony. We've got to get him off the board and his scandalous office that can't be kept straight. We've got to get somebody who's going to hold these people accountable, because clearly we've caught code enforcement, and I've got a demand for mediation that they're 45 days in breach of at least. Still not returning calls. Is this the way to do business? Stan, what the hell are you doing about it? How about getting off your ass and doing what you said you was going to do? But it looks like old Sunday's going to be a fart in church, just a lot of wind that nobody really wanted at the wrong time. You can't make this stuff up. But it's really not that funny, even though the funniest things are true. And I'll continue telling the truth. Somebody asked me today, Al, what's going to happen if you lose? I said, well, you'll still have me and the Alan Osborne Show to tell you the truth. But won't you wish I could really do something about it? You still have the chance. Spread the word. Hand out my cards if you need some business cards, or you have people sitting on the fence. Tell them to challenge Michael Atkinson and Alan Osborne to show up and answer, and see which one shows up. Kind of like that wish in one hand and poop in the other, and see which one fills up first. Well, he's filled us full of his phony baloney and his pontification. And I hope you firefighters, paramedics, and citizens that see through this phony baloney will choose the below section in red there and vote Alan Osborne for a change. Anyway, that's the way it was on October 26th. You can't make this up. Send people links to my old shows about the things that Atkinson won't do. Ask yourself, would I want an Atkinson leadership arriving at my house during a fire to shoot my animals and then make jokes about it? It won't happen in my department. You know what I'll do? I'll get rid of those people. Have a bunch of illegal aliens that are criminals that nobody wants to get rid of, to do anything with, and the justice system won't. I won't release them in Walton County. You can put me in jail, but I'll pile a bunch of illegals in there and drive them to the federal facility and tell the administration, not in our county. Is that what you want? That's what I want. I want to take America back. Please don't give it away. The people that came before us for the 200 years prior to me being born will probably be really pissed off at how we're pissing away what they so hardly earned in dried blood. Respect the people that came before America. Respect America. Remember, your oath's not to Donald Trump or, God, if you're an idiot, to Harris or Biden. Your oath is to the Constitution. And the people are America. And you need to go speak up for us. Be there for us. Be an American. Don't be in a group. Don't be in a race. Don't be in a gender. Be an American, and we'll all get along a little bit better. Be proud to be an American first before you're proud of some other culture. I have a culture that's not from this country, obviously, where everybody with a light colored skin came to this country. But I'm most proud that I am an American. Even more proud than I am to be a hillbilly. And that's the way it was on Alan Osborne Show. You can't make this shit up, but you can unelect it. You can have another choice. I'm it. This go around. Till next time, y'all keep them straight. They can't keep themselves straight. You hear?